Time was running out for the Soviets. The United States Air Force was gaining dominance in the skies with its latest aircraft, the F-111 Aardvark, and there was no Soviet fighter that could match it. Nonetheless, despite the regime's pressure, the Soviet engineers knew what they were doing. 10 years in the making, Sukhoi unleashed its creation in the late 1970s, the Su-24 Fencer. With its sweeping variable geometry wings, the Su-24 could transform its silhouette from a nimble spearhead to gain speed to a broad-winged hunter to enhance its payload capacity and range. Armed with state-of-the-art radar and elusive electronic countermeasures, the Su-24 Fencer was more than just a bomber or fighter. It was a versatile multi-role platform, engineered to strike unseen and undeterred across diverse battlefields. In its unveiling, the Soviets not only revealed a devastating weapon, but a clear message destined for the Americans. They too could command the skies. The Cold War, a period of intense geopolitical tension, emerged from the ashes of World War II. Western nations, realizing they had aligned with the Soviet Union, found themselves in a precarious position. This era, characterized by a relentless space and arms race, became the backdrop for a fierce battle in the skies. The air forces from both sides sought to overcome each other, spawning an entire generation of jet aircraft that were fast, agile, and lethal. In the mid-1960s, the Soviet Air Force was jolted by the arrival of the U.S. Air Force's General Dynamics F-111 Aardvark, a versatile adversary that posed a significant challenge to their aerial supremacy. This powerful, supersonic, medium-range multi-role fighter left the Soviet Union in awe due to its groundbreaking design and features that made it the perfect aircraft for attack and strategic bombing operations, as well as reconnaissance and electronic warfare. The F-111 Aardvark's introduction significantly shifted the balance of power in the skies, forcing the Soviet Union to respond with a new generation of aircraft, including the Sukhoi Su-24 Fencer. Formally introduced to the U.S. Air Force in 1967, the F-111 Aardvark sent chills down the spine of Soviet engineers due to its unique swing wing that allowed it to vary its drag during different phases of flight operations, such as cruise, landing, and takeoff. The unique approach to wing design of the F-111 Aardvark led to the development of over 560 production F-111s for the USAF, putting more stress on the Soviet engineers to design not just an advanced aircraft, but one that could be produced by the hundreds to prevent the United States from taking over the skies. Time was of the essence, and the Soviet Air Force devised a plan to overcome the imminent dominance of the F-111 swiftly. They decided to fuse two proven existing designs, the Su-7B fighter bomber and the Su-15 fighter interceptor, to create a new aircraft. Sukhoi envisioned an all-weather variant of its Su-7B, except larger to fit all the avionics required for its various roles. Furthermore, the Soviet Air Force ordered the development of a new navigation and attack system, designated Puma, for use with the latest design. Sukhoi took a bold step away from the trend of complex variable geometry wings, like those on the F-111, by designing the S-6 prototype. This concept aimed for simplicity, with a fixed delta wing layout, propelled by two Tumansky R-21 engines, and room for two pilots in a tandem arrangement. Although a prototype was built and presented, the project was shelved as the necessary Puma hardware failed to materialize. Undeterred, Sukhoi shifted to the S-58M design, which would adapt the existing Su-15 interceptor into something more innovative. The evolving demand of the Soviet Air Force now called for an aircraft that could fly low over hostile territories at supersonic speeds, thanks to its STOL, or short takeoff and landing capabilities. The proposed S-58M would use a 6-engine setup, 2 Tumansky R-27 engines for sustained cruise, and 4 Rybinsk RD-36-35 engines for the crucial STOL performance. Accommodating the expansive Orion radar system meant placing pilots side by side, a design that led to a broader fuselage instead of the traditional tandem arrangement. To put this radical idea to the test, Sukhoi converted the first Su-15 prototype into the S-58VD, a flying lab that flew from 1966 to 69, pushing the boundaries of aviation technology. During this phase, it was rumored the prototype was fitted with AL-21F engines, based on a J-79 engine from an American fighter shot down in Vietnam. While the USAF's F-111 roared over the skies of Vietnam, the Soviet Air Force was preparing its own aircraft, set for flight testing in early 1970. On a cold morning in January 1970, the skies above the Soviet Union thundered as the Sukhoi Su-24 with its distinctive swept wing design, took to the air for the first time. Yet, it would be another half-decade before this advanced fighter bomber would join the ranks of the Soviet Air Force. The road to operational status was filled with challenges, including early test accidents caused by the pioneering yet unfamiliar technologies integrated into the aircraft. Nonetheless, the K-36D ejection seat emerged as a lifesaver for the courageous pilots testing the Su-24's limits, though not without its quirks. In a bizarre twist during a pre-flight check in November 1975, a crewman accidentally triggered the ejector seat, catapulting an unsuspecting navigator into the sky from the aircraft. Miraculously, he parachuted back to the ground unharmed in the first ever stationary ejection in Soviet aviation history. Between 1970 and 1976, the Su-24 prototypes completed over 300 flights, acquiring the NATO codename Fencer and entering production and service with the Soviet Air Force shortly after. From its crews, the Su-24 acquired the nickname Suitcase due to its slab-sided fuselage with flat surfaces. The cockpit was located aft of the nose assembly, where the pilot and systems officers sat side by side under a glass canopy. Both airmen entered and exited the Su-24 from individual clip-on ladders placed on the right and left sides of the forward fuselage. This was due to the aircraft's height of over 20 feet 4 inches. It had a length of 80 feet and a width of 57 feet, with an overall empty weight of 49,000 pounds. The air intakes were mounted on the sides of the fuselage and featured rectangular openings feeding the turbojet engines. As a last detail, the rounded curves of the forward fuselage and the sharp and flat angles further aft provided the Su-24 Fencer with its unique-looking Cold War-era design. The preset wing sweep positions were listed as 16 degrees, 35 degrees, 45 degrees, and 69 degrees to cover takeoff and landing operations, and 2 altitude cruise modes. The tail assembly comprised a single vertical fin with a sweep along the leading and trailing edges. Furthermore, the horizontal planes featured all moving surfaces. Additionally, the Fencer also featured ventral intakes positioned under each engine compartment. The Su-24 Fencer was equipped with a versatile armament suite for a tactical bomber and an all-weather attack aircraft. The main armament comprised a close-range, rapid-firing GSH-6 23mm cannon mounted internally with 500 rounds of ammunition. 8 external hardpoints allowed the Fencer to carry up to 17,600 pounds of ordnance that could be tailored for different mission profiles. For air-to-surface missiles, the Su-24 could carry KH-23 radio command-guided missiles, KH-25 laser-guided missiles, and KH-29 laser-guided or television missiles. The Fencer could also carry anti-radar missiles to suppress enemy air defense missions like the KH-58 and air-to-air missiles like the R-60 infrared-guided missiles. For conventional bombs, the Fencer could launch different unguided bombs, including freefall bombs of various weights. For area targets, Su-24s could carry RBK series cluster bombs and precision-guided munitions such as the KAB-500 and KAB-1500 laser-guided bombs. Additional armament comprised electronic countermeasures pods to enhance survivability during missions. The Su-24 could be equipped with ECM pods to disrupt hostile radar and missile guidance systems. The Fencer could also carry external fuel tanks mounted on the hardpoints for extended range missions. Overall, the armament configuration of the Su-24 makes it a highly adaptable platform, capable of executing a wide range of tactical missions, from precision strikes and battlefield interdiction to suppression of enemy air defense and close air support. Several variants of the Su-24 Fencer guaranteed the aircraft was up to date since its introduction and could tackle several roles. The Fencer A was the first production model, entering service in the early 1970s. It set the standard for subsequent modifications, with its versatile avionics and weapons capabilities, tailored for all-weather, low-altitude penetration bombing. As time progressed, the Soviets introduced the Su-24M, or Fencer D, in the early 1980s. It featured improved avionics, including a digital navigation and attack system and an in-flight refueling system, which extended its range. It also introduced a more capable radar and the ability to carry newer precision-guided munitions and chaff and flare countermeasures. More importantly, this variant could have more advanced weaponry, including the KH-31 anti-radiation missile and improved laser-guided bombs. During the mid-1980s, the Soviets prepared the Su-24MK, specifically designed for export to countries outside the Soviet Union. This model retained most of the Su-24M's advanced capabilities, but lacked some of the more sensitive avionics and electronic countermeasures, such as the identification friend or foe system. The Fencer E, or Su-24MR, became the dedicated tactical reconnaissance platform. It was equipped with specialized reconnaissance equipment, including sideways-looking airborne radar and infrared and optical sensors. It was intended to gather real-time battlefield intelligence without the need for deep penetration into enemy territory. Another unique variant was the Su-24MP, or Fencer F, the Su-24 series electronic intelligence, or ELINT variant. These were built for specific electronic signals intelligence roles and equipped with advanced ELINT equipment to intercept and analyze enemy signals, contributing to electronic warfare capabilities. A modernized version of the Su-24M was introduced in the early 2000s, featuring updated avionics, improved cockpit ergonomics, GPS integration, and enhanced weapon compatibility. These variants reflect the Su-24's adaptability to different roles, from deep strike and precision bombing to tactical reconnaissance and electronic warfare, demonstrating its importance as a versatile asset in modern air forces. The upgrades and modifications have ensured that the Su-24 remains relevant, despite changes in the technological landscape of military aviation. Currently, the Su-24MK, equipped with a pair of Saturn Lioka AL-21F3A turbojet engines, delivering over 24,675 pounds of thrust with an afterburner, holds the highest performance of the entire series. The Su-24MK can achieve a maximum speed of 815 miles per hour, the equivalent of Mach 1.07 at sea level and Mach 1.35 at higher altitudes. Its radius is limited to 1,725 miles for ferry operations, while combat range is shortened to over 590 miles without fuel tanks. In addition to its strike capabilities, the Su-24 has specialized reconnaissance variants. These aircraft carry sophisticated pods capable of virtual and electronic surveillance, turning the Fencer into an eye in the sky that can monitor enemy movements and gather critical intelligence. The aircraft's electronic warfare systems are equally adept, capable of jamming enemy radars and communications, creating a cloak of invisibility for itself and its allies. This suite of advanced technologies makes the Su-24 a valued asset in the arsenals of many nations, including Ukraine, Belarus, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Iraq, Syria, and Libya. Russia boasts the largest fleet, with over 415 Fencers ready for deployment, while Ukraine ranks second, fielding more than 230 units. These aircraft first saw combat in the rugged terrains of Afghanistan during the 1980s, where they provided crucial support to Soviet ground forces battling the Mujahideen. The precision with which they delivered their payloads proved indispensable in such a demanding conflict environment. The theaters of operation for the Su-24 have been both varied and volatile. In Lebanon, Syrian Fencers engaged in fierce aerial confrontations, while in the early 1990s, during Operation Desert Storm, Iraqi Fencers found themselves thrust into a new kind of war against American forces. The Chechen Wars of the mid-1990s again called the Su-24 into action, where Russian forces relied heavily on its all-weather capabilities for bombing raids and close air support missions, despite the challenging conditions of poor visibility and adverse weather. In addition, the Su-24's versatility was on display during the Russo-Georgian War in 2008, where it played a critical role in achieving air superiority and disrupting enemy logistics. More recently, the skies of Syria have witnessed the Su-24 in a major role, supporting the Assad regime in a conflict that has drawn international attention and controversy. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine presents a unique theater of operations, where both Russian and Ukrainian S-24s have been employed in tactical bombing and reconnaissance missions with significant effectiveness. This conflict has highlighted each side's deep familiarity with the Su-24, showcasing a rare instance where opposing forces fully understand the capabilities and vulnerabilities of the same aircraft type. Despite its age, the Su-24 continues to demonstrate remarkable adaptability and effectiveness. Its deployment across various regions underscores not only the aircraft's robustness, but also the high regard in which military strategists hold it for its operational versatility. Whether it's piercing deep into enemy territories, providing crucial air support, or gathering vital intelligence, the Su-24 remains a formidable force in modern aerial warfare.